All right, we're here with Sarah Holt today in her backyard garden. Tell me a little bit about how you got started gardening.
Well, my mom was a big gardener, so I've always grown up around gardens. But she always did in the ground, and ever since I've started gardening, I've been doing raised beds because I don't like weeding, so it makes it a lot easier. Over here I've got my compost bin. We actually started out with just an 8x8, but we went ahead and built this pretty recently. Cost on it was probably about $300, but it allows me to, my husband, when he cuts the grass, put that on one end, and I can mix things a lot more easily. And so I can kind of control the progression of the compost as it goes. So this is my first season with this compost bin, but I've been getting some really good dirt, huge worms, so all good things on that. And with the big yard, I get plenty of grass clippings and leaves in the fall, so it's worked very well in being able to grow my own dirt.
Have you noticed anything? I think some people are hesitant to put grass sometimes in their compost, but have you noticed any like seed starts? Or is this process getting hot enough and everything for you to really get rid of all those seeds?
Yeah, this process does for the most part. As we go to some of the different beds, I'll point out the one that's most recent that wasn't composted as well, and you get some of the small grass sprouts, but I really have very little weeding that I have to do.
What made you decide to do a 4 system?
Mostly because we just end up with so many fresh grass clippings in the middle of summer. And so I wanted to be able to, let him get started in one spot, and then as I'm mixing it, he might start on the next spot until I'm done mixing, and just give me the opportunity to get more mixing done, because he kept covering up my stuff with fresh grass clippings, and it's like I can't do that. I need a place that I can mix it. So I'm kind of mid-process here. I need to start shoveling some more, but it's been a little bit warm, so
yeah,
I'm gonna wait for a cool day and do some more of that.
No, I like that. I think that, yeah, like in a way we have 4, we have a big brush pile that it's like all the big stuff goes first. That way it's not just clogging up.
Neither my husband or I are super experienced or anything, so that was our first go, and it worked out pretty well. It's mostly square. I did these, they're all 4 by 16 foot, and they're about, it's 16 inches with the, that's T111 board. Just cut into 16-inch rips, and then putting 2x6s across the top.
Okay, and what do you have planted in here?
This side is squash, yellow squash, straight neck, and over here I've got zucchini. And I think I planted too many in here. They actually, when we get to this side, we'll see they're trying to climb out.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I don't know about too many, but these things are massive. Goodness gracious.
It seems like no matter how much room I give them, they fill up the space. So there's actually only, these are store-bought. I did plant some from seed, but they got too hot. I guess I didn't transition them well enough, and so they died on me, and I ended up going to the store and buying some. But there's only 3 on each side. Of course, there's more than one in the pack, but there were just 3 plants the way you would buy them, and they've really taken up space.
Have you had any problems with
this one? I could probably go ahead
bugs yet, pests?
I haven't seen the actual bugs, but I have had some of the issues on the stems where it looks like a bug's getting into it. But I've not been able to find any bugs or eggs or anything. So let's see, because I did have, that you can see a bit of a sign there. That's usually what you would expect to see, but I've not been able to see any of the bugs. So I'll just have to keep an eye out, but I usually just go to town crushing those with my hands and then just clean up real good.
Tell me a little bit about your profession.
I'm a school teacher. I teach 9th grade physical science at Conway Junior High. Be starting my 5th year this fall. Not sure really what it's going to look like, but we'll do something.
Yeah.
Be my 10th year overall in education, but my 5th year at Conway. Here I've got cucumbers. These are Boston picklers, and again, they're getting out of their area, so I just kind of put another little teepee there to let them keep climbing. I have some bush beans here, okra, and then these are the burpless hybrids, kind of like a straight 8. They're starting to get to where the heat is affecting them. I'm probably going to be building some, getting some bamboo and building some shade structures, because usually by about 1 o'clock they start getting that pinched look, even with the rain yesterday. So I get a lot of sun in this part of the garden.
What are you doing with the food after you harvest it?
Give it away to a lot of family members and friends. Actually, this morning I went to kickboxing and just brought a couple sacks of cucumbers and gave them out to whoever wanted them there. I've donated to Kapka. The gravel was a new addition this year, and I don't know if it might be increasing the heat on the garden plants a little bit. I wanted to go with mulch, and my husband wanted to go with gravel, and he won out. He said it would last longer. He didn't want to be bringing mulch out every couple years. So it's definitely a durable surface, but it might bring in a little bit more heat, and that might be why I'm having a little bit more problems than I did last year. Lots of tomato plants. Kind of a mixture here. Starting on this end, I've got a beefsteak that I planted from seed. And then I have 3 of the Cherokee purples that I bought through Bell Urban Farms. I have a cherry that I planted by seed, and then some store-bought grape tomato, and a store-bought hybrid, which I really like. If you're somebody who likes the grape tomatoes, Roma tomatoes, this is a hybrid, so you get an in-between size of the two. And they're just really meaty tomatoes. And then this is a Roma that I planted by seed. So
Where do you get your seed from?
I just bought it from Walmart, I guess, this last time. I learned about the seed library just afterwards, and so I'll probably try to do more through all of that. That's some great things there, but I've just recently been learning about everything that's going on there, and they seem to be increasing what they're doing all the time. It's great.
She's talking about us, by the way. Faulkner County Urban Farm Project, all right. Good.
I'm always careful to rotate my beds every year. That seems to help a lot with keeping the pests out. I haven't had problems with tomato worms or aphids. Actually, the problem I have is they're growing too much and I have to cut them back. I think I'm going to build my own cages next year to get something even better than what I've got here, and probably plant less. I've got a serrano and a jalapeno, and there's some good peppers on there. A couple Anaheim plants. I'll pull that one off. Banana peppers. And then this is a yellow bell and an orange bell, and I've got a huge bell pepper there, but it hasn't changed. It's green. Over here, this is my newest bed. You can tell that even by the wood. I did an 8x8 here, and this is then the newest compost. So you were kind of asking about that. I do get quite a bit of, they're just grass shoots like that is usually what I get. So it's really not that bad for trying to weed, but this is just from last fall. But I have basil plants. The marigolds in here are actually just from when I planted my marigolds over here, and they had some blooms that had finished, and so I just tossed them in here, and I have some volunteers, so I've let them grow. I have some oregano that actually my neighbor pulled up from her yard, and I planted over here. And this is some mint that somebody from school gave me last year. I had it in a pot all last year and it just barely was surviving, and I was like, oh, I'll just put it in here and see if it lives. And it's living. So I'll probably, I want to make this more of a an herb bed and get some more things in here. So this one was just kind of starting. I hadn't fully gotten things planned out. I do have a little bit of cilantro as well. A nice sturdy here. I can sit on it, stand on it, and I mean, if I need to get in here, I can. So this is my one permanent bed. Although the herb bed may become a permanent. Some of those herbs come back year after year. This has asparagus, which I got some plants from my mom and transplanted them in here, because normally they take a good 3 years or more before you can start harvesting. But this way I was able to start with some mature plants. They've just gone to fern right now. And then I've got strawberries in here. I always put the marigolds around, just the bees seem to like them. They add some color and they seem to keep the bugs away a little bit. And again, some of my strawberry plants I got from Bell Urban Farms. So I learned about them right at the time they were doing their spring sale. So I've got some of those in here, and you know, you can see they're really sending shoots out. I should have a pretty full bed next year. I started out, I think, with maybe 8 plants, and they are really multiplying.
Yeah, those were from Heifer. Had grown all those strawberries and plants in the pots. They're looking good.
And I'm still getting a few. Actually, this looks like might be a good one there. Yeah. Some of the ants got to it first, but I'm okay with sharing. We put in a French drain because this corner of the yard is where all the water comes to. That's also part of why we did this. It wouldn't grow well. It just turned to mud most of the time, but this helps with drainage. But over here I've got some raspberry plants, and I just put these in this year. So this is really just one year of growth on them.
When did you plant them?
Probably end of March. The bookend blueberries were store-bought, and these other ones were offshoots from a friend.
We've taken the tour here. Tell me a little bit about your future plans here, things that you'll be growing in the future.
Well, I do have plenty of space still in the garden. I'll probably do some just 4x4 beds in some of the larger vacant areas to maybe be able to spread my plants out a little bit more. Over in this area of my yard, because I've got plenty of space here, I want to put in a small orchard, at least some pear trees, apple trees, that may be all, maybe some figs, just a small variety, get a little bit more, take up some space. Well, I know I'm always going to have more than we can eat, and I'm real excited about the way that the Urban Farm Project's planning to create a food pantry, and so I know I'll always be able to donate stuff there, and I'm really looking forward to that, having a place nearby that's just a go-to place for that. I also would like to get involved in a way that I can sell some of it. You know, it costs a little bit getting it set up, and it's a lot of fun, but I'd like to be able to, you know, just kind of earn back a little bit and feel like I'm doing it for a little bit more of a purpose than just for myself. You know, I like the idea of bartering too. I've done that a little bit, of just putting stuff on Facebook saying, hey, I've got this, who's got something they can trade me? So I've got a bunch of blueberries coming to me next week for enough cucumbers for them to do some pickling, or somebody else got some cucumbers, because that seems to be what I get the most of right now. And you know, they did pickling, brought me a jar. So barter is always good. Just trade for what you don't grow or don't have coming in yet.
All right, well, thank you for having us out here for this garden tour. And I'd like to visit again and see where it is, maybe next year or even this fall, so we can watch the growing process out here.
Very good. I appreciate you coming out.
You bet. Thank you.